So I actually have ADD, which you intelligent people know stands for absent dad disorder. Which means I am easily distracted by any good-looking male figure who pays attention to me. And I woke up, and I did not know I had been robbed. I woke up by myself in my bed, naked, wearing a bicycle helmet and holding a whip.
Are we ready for the main event tonight? Very excited for this man. Longtime friend of mine. He's been with me, a comedy mentor for years. Absolutely love this guy to death. Love coming down doing his shows. He is the comedy producer of the award-winning Of the Comics series. You got to check it out. Also, don't hold it against him, a Colorado native. Put your hands together for my brother, Mr. Pat Treuer, everybody!
Keep it going for Kyle Ruff, everybody, huh? Kaylin as well. Oh, buddy Pat, I'm going to take a seat. So, first of all, I just want to say thanks, everyone, for coming out. Are you having a good time? So this is a comedy special. Normally, comedians, they film like 5 different times. They take the best set, but I have one shot because I don't have more than $1,000 because I just gave it to Building Hope. Which is great. And I'm going to do something different here. I'm actually going to give you my last punchline of the show without the setup. No. Yes. Sorry I didn't run my notes by you earlier. So I'm not going to give you the setup. I'm just going to give you the punchline, and here's what I want to have happen. It's a very serious punchline, and I want the laughter. I want you to fake laugh because we're recording, and it's going to make it it's going to make it look awesome. But I want the laughter to be like, okay, and then like bust it, and then I want a standing ovation. Are we in? Can we get a yes? Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's the punchline. You only have to move 1 box, and you have 5 friends to help you move it. Breckenridge, Colorado, you are absolutely the best. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great night. I was wondering if that was going to work. Oh, that did. That really worked. I've dreamed about that my whole life. That's all you got to do as a comedian, isn't it, huh? Oh, listen, my name is Pat Treuer, and for those of you that don't know me, listen, I'm aware that I'm what the Thor movies would look like if they were made by PBS instead of Marvel. For you Nickelback fans, yes, it is me, the stunt double for lead singer Chad Kroeger. A few of you are looking at me, you're like, nah, Pat, you look like genetic engineers took the DNA from Barbra Streisand and Will Ferrell to make a 4-year-old man boy. I want to tell you, if you had that thought, you might be right. And here's why. It's because I was raised by a single mother who conceived me with artificial insemination. Yeah, that's not a joke. I wish it was every Father's Day. Any other AI babies in the house? No, just a bunch of regular sex babies in Exodus? Fun fact about us artificial insemination babies that were produced in that way is that, actually produced is a bad word. Produced makes it sound like I was shot out of a factory in Wuhan. So I actually have ADD, which you intelligent people know stands for absent dad disorder. Which means I am easily distracted by any good-looking male figure who pays attention to me. Like you, sir. What's your name? Trent? Trip. Trip, would you like to be my papa? Yes! He said yes! I knew you'd come to a show. Only if I call you Daddy. I'm not from Kentucky. Allow me to clear up a couple misconceptions about my conception based on numerous conversations I've had with people. I was, a lot of people growing up, they used to call me a test tube baby. I was conceived in the early 80s. There were no test tubes involved in my conception. The correct term is Dixie cup baby. I tell people, I'm 41, and I was conceived with artificial insemination. A lot of times they say,
Wow, Pat, we didn't know that technology existed that long ago.
like my DNA was taken from dinosaur bones. I want to tell you the technology's been around for thousands of years. People just don't know that because the first artificial insemination was not called artificial insemination. It was called the Immaculate Conception. I think the term immaculate is inaccurate. Perhaps ghost ejaculate is more appropriate. First time I ever did that joke, girl comes up to me after the show and she goes,
Oh, you think you're so funny? You think you're the second coming of Christ?
no, if anything, I'm probably like the 10,000th coming of some dude named Trip. I hate it when I'm in bed with a woman and she asks me who her daddy is. So I just feel like she's patronizing me. But I love it when she calls me daddy because that means she just wants me to pull out, run to the kitchen, come in the coffee mug, take $50 from her wallet, and never see her again. I don't do that. So prior to being a comedian, I started doing comedy about 18 years ago, and on my third time I bombed, and because I grew up white, middle-class suburbia, when something was hard, I just quit. And so I quit for 15 years. And I decided I need to go in the corporate world. And I had a career as an international sales manager. Yeah, I want you guys to say it with me on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. International sales manager. I want to tell you something. Anytime somebody waves their arm like that, when they say their job title, it just means this is a load of verbal manure. That's all it is. I was good at my job, not because I was hardworking, rather because I had no problem following men into the bathroom to ask for their business cards. I follow more men into the bathroom than Freddie Mercury. I want to tell you something I learned about job titles. The longer someone's job title, the less work they actually do. It's true. I got to say, when I was in the corporate world and I got really unhappy with life because I knew I wasn't doing what I loved doing, was just making people laugh, like you good people here tonight. And I just got real depressed, and I started partying a lot, and I was like, I got to do this. I can't live the rest of my life like this. So I made plans to quit and to pursue my dream of comedy. And when I would tell people in the corporate world, I'm quitting so I can pursue my dream of comedy, everyone was like, wow, Pat, you are amazing. I wish I could do what you were doing. So supportive. And then I quit, and I went into comedy, and I told veteran comedians that I left a successful career to pursue my dream of comedy. And every single one of them said, oh, you shouldn't have done that, man. But I'm doing pretty well. And I know that because every show I perform for 2 well drinks. It was awesome, and I got to say there was parts of the corporate world I really enjoyed. For example, I got to fly business class all over the world. Someone else was paying for it. Now that I'm a comedian, I have to fly on Spirit Airlines.
I've never met one person who has flown on Spirit Airlines and afterwards said, you know what? That really was worth the money. If you're not familiar with Spirit Airlines, their business model is a low airfare, and then they charge you for everything else. Seat assignment, overhead baggage, being treated like a human being. Your standard Spirit Airlines flight sounds something like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying on Spirit Airlines. Our final destination today is, well, somewhere you probably can't afford. We're anticipating a very turbulent ride for the next 3.5 hours. So we're going to need to have your seatbelts fastened for the duration of the flight. Seatbelts can be rented for $500 every 30 minutes. Passengers need to use the lavatory located in the rear of the aircraft. Number 1 is $2. Number 2 is $5. And to grab your ankles and beg the Lord for forgiveness because it feels like Satan is evacuating your bowels is $666. We're running a special on toilet paper. Buy 2 squares, get the third free. Soap's $10 a pop. We're happy to report a record year of profits here at Spirit Airlines. And with those profits, we're able to offer discounted airfares to families with newborn children. You lucky passengers have 80 of these angels on board. Earplugs will be available halfway through the flight for $7,989.
And that's what it's like flying on Spirit Airlines. When I was in the corporate world, what I really enjoyed was I worked for a multinational company. And I got to meet a lot of cool people and that from all over the world. And that started on my first days in the corporate world. And, I went to the HR training, right, which HR training is, hey, don't be a creep and don't steal. That's all that is. And we had Mr. Lee in from the China office. And I was pumped. I had never met someone from China before. This gentleman was so polite. Didn't talk much. Good morning, Mr. Lee. Every morning, just didn't talk. The HR instructor, she would try to call on him to answer questions, and he would always just do that. No, 2 days, no answering any of the questions. So day 3, we're watching a situational video, and you know it. Imagine a big screen. The HR instructor, she starts the video, and it's watch the video, pause, talk about it as a group, go from there. She starts the video. It's 2 women working in a factory, and there's your third creep guy, like a Harvey Weinstein in the corner. Oh, God, it looks like he's going to sell you a Ford Fiesta or a Pinto. And he's staring at him, and they go into the break room, and one says to the other, I can't stand, Bill, how he stares at us with those eyes all day. And the other one says, I know, he's just those elevator eyes all day. It makes me so uncomfortable. Pause the video. And the HR instructor says, okay, class, what is the proper course of action? And Mr. Lee raises his hand for the first time in 3 days. Yes, Mr. Lee, she says. She's so excited. What's the proper course of action, Mr. Lee? He goes, yes, next time a Bill should wear sunglasses. Which obviously is so wildly inappropriate, but apparently not in China. Never really heard about the Me Too or anything. Just imagine a board meeting looking like the World Series of Pokers with a bunch of guys with sunglasses on. That's what I loved about the corporate world. So I quit, right? And I was born and raised in Denver. I'm one of those. And I moved to Chicago. And I went to Second City because I knew the people from Saturday Night Live went to Second City. And in my mind, I was like, Lorne Michaels is going to come in on my first day of class. And he's like, Pat Treuer, you're on Saturday Night Live, right? That didn't happen, as you can tell, because I'm here. And, Chicago's a different kind of place.
And growing up in Colorado, listen, I love skiing, I love snowboarding, I love adventures, and I trust people too easily, too fast. And when I matured, when I was still here and I was interested in girls, my only question for a girl when I met her was, do you ski or snowboard? That's all I cared about. If she said yes, great, we're getting married, you know? That's all I cared about because I have the depth of a 3-inch powder day. So I moved to Chicago, and in the first year of living in Chicago, I'm going to keep this clean, I brought 2 girls home with me to play a game of Connect 3. And they robbed me. That's not a joke. I had unprotected relations with a girl who had a pre-existing condition, aka an STD. Who didn't tell me about it till after. Don't worry, we're all clear. Front row, don't worry. So after 1 year of living in Chicago, 1 year, my question changed when I met a girl from do you ski or snowboard to do you have an STD or plans to rob me? If yes, let's open a bottle of wine and see where the night takes us. Getting robbed is tough. That's a rough one. I was wasted. I was hammered, and because I was still trying to find myself. And I woke up, and I did not know I had been robbed. I woke up by myself in my bed, naked, wearing a bicycle helmet and holding a whip. I was proud of myself for wearing the helmet because, you know, safe sex. and the whip because, well, I am a kinky guy. And that surprises a lot of people because I look like I'd bring a cheese platter to an orgy. All right, the cheddar is an appetizer, and the blue cheese is to cleanse our palates after we toss the salads. 50 Shades of White Claw up here. Wasn't always kinky. I went to Catholic school, so sex education was scare tactics inducing nightmares every night. And so I was like a little Catholic private schoolboy. And then I dated a girl, you know, that one ex. That's the worst one for you, but oh boy. She took me to Kingtown. She got me into choking. Hey. First time she said, I want you to choke me while we're having sex. I said, I don't want to go to jail. No, thank you. She said, just give it a shot. I said, okay. 3 days later, I was the John Cena of erotic asphyxiation. And so, you know, who's ever had an ex that you know is bad for him, but you keep going back to him because they know exactly what to say? Thanks for the honesty, right? Ultimately it's our fault. We don't put it on them. We could always say no, but they know exactly what to say. And our last go around many years ago, she sent me a text that just said, "These other guys don't choke me like you do." I thought about that. I wanted to give a proper response. So I said, try treating them exactly like you treat me. I'm sure the grip will tighten. Oh, so, you know, I just because of my experience with the girl in Chicago who didn't tell me about the STD till after the Catholic school, I was extremely paranoid about STDs. Extremely paranoid. I had an ingrown hair on my stomach, right to Planned Parenthood, you know? And, I mean, geez, I would just, you know, you get the Sunday scaries, you've done something, and I wouldn't leave my apartment for weeks.
what have I done with my life? And I would just make up these illogical reasons as to why I might have contracted an STD from someone who didn't have one. I'd be like, well, she went to spring break 10 years ago in Mexico. Gonorrhea for sure, you know? And I gotta say, like, all that, what I put myself through actually prepared me for pretty well for the pandemic. Because it was like, oh, you get COVID, hey, don't leave your house for 14 days, don't have any contact with people. I was like, 14 days, that's it? I can stay in my house for months and not talk to anybody, thinking I have something that's gonna kill me. I love Planned Parenthood. I loved it. I wish I had a punch card. Buy 10 and get the 11th life lesson free. They have a rapid HIV test. Now, for someone with extreme paranoia of getting STD, I've thought that I've given myself HIV many times. And the rapid HIV test takes 15 minutes. So you go in, they take your blood, and they say, we're going to leave you here alone for 15 minutes while we get this test. You want to talk about thinking about every decision you've ever made in life? It's like doing DMT. You see your whole life flash in front of your eyes. You die and are reborn as soon as they come in and say, congratulations, no HIV. You're like, great. And then you go out that night to celebrate it, you do the same thing all over again. So I was in Chicago and I went out on a lot of dates. And let me ask you this. Have you ever gone out on a date with someone from an app and they look nothing like their picture? Yes, exactly. That happened a lot to old Pat. And I was getting mad about it. But instead of complaining about it, I decided I was going to do something about it. So I did this twice. Called the reverse bamboozle. And old Pat, with all those drinking days, deep dish pizzas, I was 40 pounds heavier than you see me right now. I had breasts that would get me a star role on Baywatch. I had 3 chins, 3 amigos. And I decided I'm going to post pictures of me when I was bigger. And I want to reverse expectation on this one. And now, before I continue with the story, what you got to know about old Pat is that, well, I got an okay dick. It's not great. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't work, please just leave it alone. Don't try and shove it in. It'll only be like trying to shove a marshmallow into a parking meter. For you campers out there, imagine stuffing it back in the sack, you know? So I did this, like I said, twice, and so here's what would happen. You know, you match, you get excited. This is going to be the one who takes me off the apps. We get up to that point where we're going to meet up. Okay, let's have plans. We're going to meet up. So excited. And then okay, see you tomorrow. I say, yeah, but one thing before we meet. And if you don't want to meet me after this, I totally understand. You can block me, no worries. And you just see the text message bubbles go up. Okay, Pat, what is it? I have a micro penis. What is a micro penis, Pat? Well, it's like a peanut, except mine curves to the left, so more of a cashew. Ha ha, Pat, you're so funny. Yeah, I have to be. Okay, Pat, I'd still like to meet you. Now, these two girls I did it with, they couldn't have been nicer, I gotta say. We met, I made sure when we met, the only physical contact was gonna be the awkward ass-out hug that you get. And second date,
I'd invite them over to the house for some wine and cook a meal, which always leads to naked time. And we'd get that couch make-out going, and they'd kind of graze their hands around there like trying to find water, you know. Both of them, they looked at me right in the eyes and they said, is it okay if I unzip your pants, Pat? I said, yeah, just please don't laugh. And so they unzipped my pants and my floppy 4 would fall out. And both times, they just, oh, thank God. I want to tell you something. If you get a girl to say, oh, thank God, the first time she sees your okay dick, that is a huge win in life, and that's the reverse bamboozle. I talked to the girls after, and they said, why did you tell me that, Pat? And I said, I just like to set low expectations. I go, what did you think on the other end? And they said, I asked my friends, and my friends all said, maybe he's really good at going down on girls. And I said, about that. My last girlfriend called me the beaver cleaver. Not supposed to use teeth. A lot of dates, and I'm happy to say from all those dates that I don't have any kids, because my favorite second date is getting coffee and Plan B. Round of applause. Who here has had a Plan B experience? Yeah, all right, and the rest of you are either Catholic or liars. And to all of you, I say, Plan be with you, and also with you. We lift out our wallets and we give $50 to the Rite Aid cashier for that Plan B special. Save 2 lives for the price of 1. 10 Plan B experiences. Wish that wasn't true. Except for on Father's Day. Then I'm very happy that's not true. And I've learned some lessons from those experiences, and I'd like to share those lessons with you good people so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. The first Plan B experience I had, unfortunately, there was a pregnancy. And, well, the lesson I learned there is it's actually the girl that has to take the pill. Fifth Plan B experience, I learned that when you have 5 Plan B experiences, you stop calling it Plan B and you just start calling it Plan A. By the 10th time, what I learned is that as a man, when you have that conversation when you didn't pull out and you realize that there was no goalie to be pulled out, is that you need to look as crazy as possible. So what I like to do is cross my eyes, mess my hair up, look at her in one eye, and say, well, I've always wanted to be a father. And the lesson there is, well, that's how you get them to pay for the pill. So if you haven't noticed by now, I am a middle-aged straight white male. But don't worry, non-practicing. I know I'm not woke because the first time I ever heard that word, I thought someone was mispronouncing the name of a fast Asian casual restaurant. I don't believe you should be allowed to put into law you should control what other people are going to do with their bodies. I strongly believe that women should do what they want for their best, for everything. They should do what they want. And I don't think we should be controlling other people's bodies. But since the door is open, there's some laws that I'd like to propose that influence, that control other people's bodies as a result of a small decision that they make. I want to propose a law on what tattoos straight white men are allowed to get. Rule number 1, if you have a tattoo
of a tiger, you have to legally change your name to Joe Exotica. Rule number 2, if you get a foreign language tattooed on your body, you have to be fluent in that foreign language. Rule number 3, if you're going Bible verse, none of this abbreviated John 3:16. You got to go full Bible verse across your face. What do we think of that? We vote for it? I see some tattoo. You know, living in a mountain town, I feel like every day is an unofficial bad tattoo competition. I've been in Summit for 3 years now. I've been living up here in Breck for 3 years, but I don't call myself a local. And I want to open this up to the crowd because I know this is it's a title. It's an honored title to be a local up here. Shout it out. DUI. What makes you a DUI? First one. Every time I say, I'm going to tell you, you know how in It's a Wonderful Life, every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings? In Summit County, every time someone gets a DUI, someone becomes a local. What else? We had one more back there?
25 years.
Yeah, that counts. 45 years. Gold pan?
Gold pen.
Just like you're going gold panning for... Just getting blacked out. Knee surgery. 5 moose encounters. Right? Celebrating the closure of I-70. Right? Eskimo sisters. Okay, yeah. Oh, I tell you, and Summit, you can make that branch. Those branches go wide, don't they? How many sisters you got in the house tonight? Lie, yeah, 2 or 3. Is this your fella right here? Oh, we're friends. His face, he doesn't want to be friends. Yo, buddy Pat, I got married during the pandemic. I'm happy to say that my wife and I, we actually have an open relationship. Yeah, what that means, if you don't know, is that she believes that I am always open to suggestions on how to improve myself. So we have the old celebrity crush conversation. And my celebrity crush is Matthew McConaughey. And her celebrity crush is Matthew McConaughey. And that works out real sweet for both of us because I look like Matthew McConaughey's half-cousin who eats beehives for breakfast. I'm 11 years older than my wife. She loves to remind me of that age difference, and that started right at the beginning of our relationship. The first time we had the sexy time, we're having that nice calm moment afterwards, and I just kind of lying there, and all of a sudden she just slaps my chest. She goes, "Good to see this old boy still has some juice in him." My wife has a lot of friends whose parents had them when they were younger. So when we go to weddings, I am right in the middle between the parents and the kids who are at the wedding. So I got a big decision. Do I want to sit at the grown-up table or the kids' table? Do I want to talk about antique grandfather clocks or the latest TikToks? Are we going to talk about fine wine, world travels, and mowing lawns? Or are we going to talk about getting so hammered we piss ourselves on the dance floor? Because I can do both. I'm a strong flex player. Oh, so during the old pandemic, my wife and I started a new hobby. And that hobby was eating edibles and drinking a bottle of wine every night. All right, fellow hobbyists in the house. And then the pandemic ended, and we kept on hobbying. It was a good time. And then we started seeing friends who were, well, they wanted to take their hobby and turn it into a full-time profession. And I tell you what, it was challenging. And what I'm referring to is that we actually started to see our friends who struggled with addiction. If you haven't gone through this experience before, let me tell you, it's rough, and there's a lot of denial involved in it on all sides. You as a friend, them obviously as a consumer, and I realized, I have actually had 3 friends who are alcoholics, and I started thinking about that quote, "Show me a man's friend, and I'll show you that man." And I was like, maybe I have a problem. And I was like, and that problem is I'm clearly terrible at picking friends. And it's challenging because when you know someone for an extended period of time in your life, their behavior, you just become accustomed to it. You don't recognize all the signs, and they're right in front of you. You don't recognize it until it's too late. It's like the frog in the boiling water, right? The frog stays in a pot of water, the water boils, it will not jump out. It's too late. But I have learned from going through it 3 times that there's actually a couple ways that you can start to spot it. Well, first of all, Alcoholics' blood alcohol content is 0 always. If you go to dinner with a friend and they have 2 drinks and they're totally smashed, and afterwards you're inclined to just say, "Wow, like Greg is really a lightweight these days. Man, I can't believe 2 drinks. He's trash." Those are Greg's 35th and 36th drinks of the day. And you need to start looking for your friends who drive Teslas. Because that self-driving feature, it's like responsible drunk driving, right? It's like Winnie the Pooh, okay? I love Winnie the Pooh. I've loved Winnie the Pooh my entire life. But Winnie the Pooh is an addict. And here's how I can prove it to you. The 100 Acre Woods, clearly the name of a rehab facility. Piglet is the most codependent creature you will ever meet. Eeyore is addicted to opioids. And Tigger, well, if I haven't sold you yet, Winnie the Pooh cannot function without hitting the honey pot first thing in the morning. He gets so high, he forgets to put his pants on every day. And let me ask you this. What other bear do you know has yellow skin? That is jaundice. And once you got the Gandhi, you're a Gandhi right there. And I know that because one of my friends had jaundice as a result of alcoholism. And for those of you who don't know jaundice, don't worry about it. I only knew as a result of seeing it with my friend. It's where your organs start to shut down and bile builds up in your body, and your skin looks like you were dipped in yellow highlighter, or maybe a big bowl of egg yolks. That's what jaundice is. And it can be from alcoholism or yellow fever, like from mosquito bites. There's 3 words in comedy that you can say that start with a D that get people to really cinch up. And those words are divorce, dick pic, and death. Usually the first 2 cause the 3rd one. With this particular friend, I did everything I thought I could to help him, right? And what you need to know is that you cannot change the behavior of an addict. You cannot. It's not possible. You want to try because we're human beings and we want to help people, but you just can't do it. All you can do is love them. That's all you can do. You can love them and just let them know that you're going to be there for them on the other side. So I tried, and I got the phone call. My other friends, we got the phone call. Went there with him on his deathbed, and we were there with him when he died. And I forgot that when people die, that the living really take on a moral power of attorney as to what the deceased would have wanted us to do. And so a few hours after he kicked off, my buddies and I went back to our hotel, and one of my friends brings out a bottle of scotch. And he looks at me and he says, is this too soon? Should we drink this right now? And I said, well, he was an alcoholic,
So he would probably want us to drink this as fast as possible. So we finished the bottle of scotch and we're sitting around and we go, do you think he'd want us to go out tonight? Well, he was an alcoholic, so probably yes. As we're walking to the bars, my other friend says, do you think he'd be all right using his death trying to get a couple free drinks tonight? Well, he'd probably want us to give it a shot to get some shots. So we did, and it was incredible. It was actually one of the greatest, it was like this weird contrast where it was one of the greatest and worst days of my life, and we capped it off because that's how we agreed. We went out, we had a great time. Now, what I got to tell you is that the best thing about my best friend dying is that at the same time, my wife's family was moving. And because of him, totally got out of it. Because the only thing worse than watching someone you love die is helping someone you love move. Because when you help someone you love move, you got to carry 30, 40 boxes by yourself. But when someone you love dies, you only have to move one box, and you have 5 friends to help you move it. Breckenridge, Colorado, you are absolutely the best. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great night. I was wondering if that was going to work. Oh, that did. That really worked.